Sathya Sai Speaks, Volume 9, Chapter 8. In it, not of it. There are, in this huge gathering, people speaking many languages. Each one man understands only his language and wants that he should be spoken to in that language. But there is a language of the heart which all can understand and all would like to hear. That is the language which I speak, the language that goes from my heart to yours. When heart speaks to heart, it is love that is transmitted without any reservation. The trials and turmoils, the throes and thrills, the search and sorrow, these are the same in quality for all mankind. The responsive heart listens to these with sympathy and answers with love. Everyone is eager to be happy. Everyone wants to work less and gain more. Give little and get amply, but no one experiments with the other method. That is, wanting less and giving more. Every want is a shackle that hinders movement, that is a drag on the foot. A young college student can roam free on his two legs. When he marries, he becomes four-footed. A child makes him six-footed. The range of his movement is restricted. The more the feet, the less the speed. The tighter his grip on the ground, the centipede has to crawl. More things, more hurdles, more handicaps. Accumulation of sofas and chairs, cots and tables. Shelves and curio clutter the hall and render movement slow and risky. Reduce wants, live simply, that is the way to happiness. Attachment brings sorrow in its wake. At last, when death demands that everything be left behind and everybody be deserted, you are overpowered with grief. Be like the lotus on water, on it, not in it. Water is necessary for the lotus to grow, but it will not allow even a drop to wet it. The objective world is the arena of virtue and the gymnasium for the spirit. But use it only for that purpose. Do not raise it to a higher status and adore it as all important. God is visible when concretized by sadhana. There are people who go about declaring that there is no God, because they are not able to see him. They say that they have searched in space, on the way to the moon, and even on the moon, but there was no sign of the Almighty. But they themselves are, all of the time, the mansions in which God resides. Like the blind, bamboozling the blind into a fall. Others too repeat like parrots this fashionable slogan. No one sees the roots, but they are there, deep in the soil, away from all eyes. Do you assert that there are no roots for trees, that nothing feeds them, or nothing upholds them from below? God feeds, sustains, holds firm, unseen. He can be seen by those who make the effort along the lines laid down for the purpose, by those who have succeeded in experiencing him. God is as butter in milk, visible when concretized by sadhana, spiritual striving. You do not see the foundations of a multi-storied skyscraper. Can you therefore argue that it simply sits on the ground? The foundations of this life are laid deep in the past, in lives already lived by you. This structure has been shaped by the ground plan of those lives. The unseen decides the bends and the ends, the number of flows, the height and the weight. God is the great unseen, the vast unknowable. Though you do not see the roots, or know how far or how wide or deep they are clutching the earth, you pour water around the trunk so that it may reach them, is it not? You expect that when the roots contact the water, the tree will yield fruit. Recognize similarly that there is God as very basis of creation. Pray to Him, and He will shower fruit. The chief means by which you detach your mind from distractions and attach yourselves to the search of God are yoga, communion with God, and tyaga, sacrifice. Karma, desire, has to be got rid of by tyaga, and Rama, God, has to be secured by yoga. Desire discolors the intelligence. It perverts judgment. It sharpens the appetites of the senses. It lends a false lure to the objective world. When desire disappears or is concentrated on God, intelligence is self-luminous. It shines in its pristine splendor, and that splendor reveals the God within and without. That is the real Atma Sakshatkara, realization of the Self. I bless that you succeed in the sadhana in which you are engaged. If you are not practicing any now, I advise you to take up the simple one of Namasmarana, remembrance of the Divine, along with reverence towards parents and elders and teachers, services rendered to the poor and the sick. See every one of them as your Ishtadevata, the Lord in the form you like the most. That will fill your heart with love and give you stability of peace and mind. Ahmedabad, May 15th, 1969.